Donald Trump and Zelensky. There was a meeting yesterday. Something very unusual, unprecedented happened. I've never had a diplomatic conversation actually blowing up in the public
Live,
there,
live,
live
live,
happening, whatever,
being
where two presidents,
meeting in the White House being broadcast live with
honestly,
men
honestly, two
watching the
presidents,
discussion.
two
This is the
presidents
first time.
arguing. What?
This is the first time in history.
Honestly, this is the first time in history where you have something that is supposed to things that are supposed to be discussed behind the scene, behind closed doors, were actually discussed. That is a classic Donald Trump administration. Barrister, I'm a very critic. Look, what's his name? Zelensky is a very I don't like that man at all because he's corrupt. He's not only corrupt, we connived, he actually campaigned very unusual for a president of a country, serving president to come into another country, another country to campaign for the president of that country. It's I don't know if I'll call that unprecedented, but I can't remember, I can't place my memory on any situation, any of such situation in the past. This Zelensky actually campaigned for Kamala Harris in the US. He came to the US to campaign for her, supported her. I remember the impeachment of Donald Trump. He was instrumental to the impeachment of Donald Trump during when Pelosi was a Speaker of the House of Representatives. Now, I have my strong gross against him. I do not like that man. Like I said, he's a very corrupt person, and he connived with the Democrats to perpetrate acts of corruption, especially over this Ukraine war. The money they sent, which we already had, that more than half of it didn't, we don't, it cannot be accounted for. But however, honestly, I understand his concern and worries and challenges, and I understand his frustration because what really happened yesterday was based on frustration. But I asked myself when this thing happened, I said, yes, I can understand this man's frustration, but why did he this issue has been on for some weeks now since Donald Trump took over or whatever, and eventually they had meetings from Donald Trump team going to him and bringing back feedback to the president, whatever. He has expressed all this obviously to them in the secret, behind closed doors, and eventually an agreement was drafted, and he agreed upon this on this agreement. And as a result of that, he decided to fly to America to sign this document, only to get to actually make this outburst. Barrister, I understand the man. I understand the man's frustration. I will come to this frustration where I empathize with him, even though I hate him as a leader and as a person. But what do you think? What is your thought generally? One, I understand Donald Trump's. Honestly, trust me, I'm on the side of Donald Trump, always on the side. But while I'm on the side of Donald Trump, I empathize with Zelensky. Unlike other conservatives are just at coming at him with everything aggressive and so whatever. I'm not that way, but like me, the way I judge my things, I commend my enemies and I commend my friends when they do the right thing. That is the way I live my life. I criticize my friends when they do wrong things, and I criticize enemies. I'm always a fair. I'm always objective. Whether it affects me positively or negatively, I don't care. I never play a role. My interests don't play roles in my judgment of situations. I don't do that. For people who know me closely, they will attest to that. And that is the way I live my life. So I empathize with Zelensky. I don't know what's your thought on this whole controversy, Barrister.
I do not have any sympathy for him. I have said before that he lacks wisdom of any kind. A person who wants to fight his more powerful and bigger neighbor on the strength of another person, not on his own strength, but to borrow strength from another person to fight your more powerful neighbor, that person is lacking in wisdom of any kind. Because anything that happens from that where you are drawing your strength will we crush you. And that is what we are seeing now. He wants to fight Russia on the strength of America and the West. He ought to have known the way America operates. Once in a while, there will be elections. At a point, there will be questions asked on the support, the billions of dollars that are coming to his country, and the opinion will start to change. He has brought his country to virtual ruin.
Yeah.
Millions of Ukrainians have left Ukraine, able-bodied men. He is fighting even to bring up troops to go and fight in the front line. He has pushed himself to a position where he cannot settle the dispute except losing a large chunk of his country. There's no other way. So he prefers the option of continuing with the war, but on greater support from the very people that are now agitating that, look, this aid we are giving you is becoming a burden on us. So he pushed himself to that position. At the start of the crisis, and this crisis, remember, it didn't start 2022.
No.
It started way back, even before 2014. The agreements that have been reached were not kept.
Yeah.
The treatment of ethnic Russians in about 7 oblasts of Ukraine. He has banned the Russian language. And in 5 of the 7 oblasts of Ukraine, they are dominated by Russian-speaking people. And you go ahead and ban their language. It cannot be taught in the schools. You ban their culture. You try to erase anything Russian. That was the beginning of the problem. And not only that, a democratic election was conducted in Ukraine. And the West, headed by the US, made sure that the man was removed. And that democratic leader was pro-Russia. And they had to intrigue and bribe and sponsor protests until the man was removed, and a sham, what they call free and fair election, that brought, once Zelensky, the person that they believe in wins, it becomes a free and fair election.
Yeah.
But anybody who supports Russia, the election is not free and fair. That is how Zelensky came into power. Now you witness Donald Trump campaigning and promising to bring the war to an end, promising to limit aid to Ukraine. And the American people voted for him. That should have given him signals. And when he was coming, Donald Trump had blocked him. He said he didn't come. It was Starmer of UK and Macron of France that came and pleaded with Donald Trump to listen to him and go on with it. He was advised, this is the way to deal with this man, with this president, with this man. He threw away that advice.
Yeah.
When the US envoy went to Ukraine, General Kellogg, whom Trump appointed as the special envoy to Ukraine, when he maltreated them, he spoke to them very rudely.
He kept them waiting, sir. Even kept them waiting for some time.
Kept them waiting and treated them, spoke to them in a very harsh and rude manner. And they came back and told Trump. Trump did not want to see him, but Macron and Starmer came and peppered over the distance. I said, okay, come. Then you come in the White House, in the presence of media. You now begin to challenge.
Honestly,
it was
I'll call that challenge your breadwinner. Let me use that word. You challenge your breadwinner.
Your breadwinner and his pride.
Honestly.
And their pride.
Honestly,
it was foolishness.
Okay, I said I will come to my empathy, but the reason why I empathize with him now, you have everything you said. You are right. You and I are on the same page. We are talked about this issue. We've discussed about this Russia-Ukraine and Russia-Ukraine matter. And I've always been on the right of Russia. I think I find reason to support Russia in this. I'm on the side of Russia in this whole thing, because nobody will. Every leader will want to protect his domain, his country, and if possible, expand his country. Putin is just doing what he's just been doing what he as Russian leader would, every other Russian leader would do. This whole war was caused by US. US actually under Joe Biden it's not the one that started 3 years ago. This Russian matter has been dated back to the USSR, during the USSR or whatever. You know the history, barrister. But that's not where we are not discussing that today. Now, but what the war, the 3 years war right now was actually the US actually instigated it, because you know this man will never ever tolerate Ukraine to be NATO member. Never. He will never. Over his dead body. Even me, I don't even see any benefit to that, to the US on that. Sort of. So
The US wanted to provoke the war so that they
no,
can dismember Russia.
yeah, but they cannot now. But hold on. Now, my empathy, the reason why I empathize with this man is this, and that is his frustration. Now, not that he wants to continue with the war. Of course, continuing with the war is they make more money to make, but I don't think that he wants to continue. He genuinely wants to continue with the war, as Trump said. The only his problem is he's asking for guarantees that this issue will not, just like you noted. There was an agreement in 2014 that they wrote together with Putin. They had an agreement, an MOU. They signed, both parties signed it. Sort of. So, but at the end of the day, the agreement, if they had to go by that agreement, Putin was not supposed to invade Ukraine. But here we are today. This is about 3 years war. So that is his fear. His fear is that he does not trust Putin not to renege in whatever agreement they come into, they agree on. That what he needs is a guarantee, and that guarantee is what you obviously don't trust. Even me, nobody, no conservative will ever accept that what he's asking for. He wants a US on the ground. Hold on, barrister. He needs a US troop. He wants that guarantee of the US backing by actually having the military institution in Ukraine, by having troops, excuse me, boots on the ground, that they are not giving him that. So he wants that assurance. But Donald Trump is saying, look, we cannot give you any other, the best guarantee we can give to you is to have an establishment, a business, US government establishment in Ukraine. Because if we have our government business in Ukraine, under normal circumstances, Russia will not want to attack, because we will definitely protect our assets. And if we have to protect our assets, that means we have to protect you by default. That is Donald Trump. That's why I say I understand both parties. I empathize with him why he actually need that guarantee. And that is why he said if he can get this guarantee, he doesn't mind resigning. He can resign if this such thing is done or whatever. So I am, but look, I don't have any reason. Like I said, I hate Zelensky. I've never been on his side. I will never be on his side. I'm only trying to understand his own part of the argument and his frustration, because what happened yesterday he lost his cool. It was just based on frustration. He just felt frustrated. He just felt bullied. Let me use that word. It just like, because when I saw two of them sitting down, physically, you see Donald Trump, when he's about 2-3 times his size physically, and Donald Trump personifies both countries. His image personifies, he's big. The Ukraine president is small. Ukraine is smaller in resources, than in all manner of resources, than US. So it's a table of unequals. That thing is just, I feel that the man just feels US actually know, and as everybody knows, that US is they are the breadwinner, that the Ukraine cannot survive any form of war or aggression without the US. So as such, they are abusing their power, try to overuse their power. That is what I feel that actually resulted to this kind of outburst and frustration and outburst subsequently. But the truth is,
one thing you missed.
Yes.
Why does Ukraine need security guarantees? Go back to the 2014 Minsk agreement.
Yes.
It is admitted by Germany, by Britain, by France, that they allowed him to sign the agreement to buy time so that they can arm Ukraine against Russia. It was not Russia that frustrated the agreement. British Prime Minister, German Prime Minister agreed, they have confessed that yes, we allowed Ukraine to sign the agreement to buy time so that we can arm. It should be Russia that should be asking for guarantees, not Ukraine. They had an agreement. It was them that tried to trick Russia into an agreement to buy time and arm Ukraine to face Russia. Secondly, Donald Trump has seen through this request for security guarantees, especially asking for American troops. He wants to provoke a fight. If American and British troops are stationed in Ukraine along the front lines, he will provoke an incident between them and Russia. That is what he wants, and Donald Trump has seen it. It could be a direct access to a world war or to a war between the West and Russia. If that security, the kind of security guarantees he wants are put in place. Imagine American troops on the border between Ukraine and Russia with British and German troops. Any single incident involving the killing of an American soldier or a British soldier will result in a direct war between the West and US. That is what Zelensky actually wants. Nothing more than that. He believes that the West should crush Russia, alongside with him.
All right. Anyway, whatever his intentions
Russia, and that is the only thing he believes that will bring peace.
Okay, whatever his intentions are, honestly, only God knows. But the truth is, I have that iota of sympathy for him. Even yesterday when this thing happened, I watched his subsequent interview on Fox, and though I expected him to apologize, unfortunately, he foolishly did not apologize. That man does not have wisdom. He's a fool to have supported an opposition party. And honestly, I don't know. The man didn't behave smartly. He has always been against Donald Trump, and he's never hidden it. It's been very, very open about it, sort of. So even at that, Donald Trump is still acting in a gracious manner by even giving him the table, making him a part of giving him a seat at the table, sort of. So I don't know, but that is Donald Trump for you. Donald Trump does not. One thing I love about that man is he does not only have forgiving spirit. He is that kind of a person who can actually sit at the negotiation table with his worst enemy. He doesn't care. All he wants is for things to move forward. He has a business mentality. Business, that is just one thing good about that man. Sort of. Now, to conclude this matter, the only thing, like I said, I don't have anything. I'm not on the side of, I will never be on, I'm on the side of the right thing being done, and which is the side that Donald Trump stands. And that is just the reality. Donald Trump's argument is, okay, if we have our investment there, our investment should deter Russia from doing anything stupid. And that investment is good enough. That is enough. That should be enough for you. Besides, you don't even deserve it, but we are just doing it out of our magnanimity. That is the impression I got from Donald Trump personally. Anyway, that is just it. Unfortunately, Donald Trump, even with what the way he behaved, he was kicked out for. I don't know if that is unprecedented, if that had been done, happened in the past, but in my own, to the best of my knowledge, this is the first time I heard that U.S. president actually kicked out a fellow president out of White House. That man was kicked out of White House.
Of course. And
because he disrespected, he desecrated, he did not only desecrate, he did not only disrespect the president and the vice president, he desecrated the White House, the Oval Office. That's just it. It's so sad. He got what he actually
and I watched, I read online comments. Majority of them are in support of, apart from Democratic congressmen.
Yeah, of course. What do you expect?
Majority of the comments online are totally in support.
Yeah, trust me. The empathy I have on him right now, the empathy I have for him right now is very, very unpopular among the conservatives. I mean, I'm a core conservative, but at the same time, like I said, I always want. Sometimes I attach emotions to my judgment, and doing that, I bring in objectivity, and that's why I empathize with him. My position right now, by empathizing with him, is very, very unpopular in our climb, in our own conservative environment. But that is just who I am. That's the way I do things, and I don't have any regret to do that. I empathize with him. I understand why he's frustrated, and he has lost as a leader, as a president. He has lost so many things. He has lost leverage in all facets of life, and the least he could get is to actually do something. He probably leave a legacy behind. That's why he said if he can achieve this, he's ready to resign. Whether he means it or not, I don't trust him. There's no doubt about that, because he's a corrupt guy. Yeah, he's extremely corrupt, and that is why probably he's more on the side of the Democrats in the U.S. than the Republicans, sort of. So anyway, that is just it. I wish him good luck. But Donald Trump, as gracious as that, as he has always, is a very gracious man. Is still, even after just minutes after that, while he was flying to Florida, he still put out a statement on his Truth Social. He's still open to that when the man is ready to end the war, he should come back. So the door is still open. It's still open to him, and I believe. I think the man, obviously he regretted it. He will eventually. He doesn't have option anyway. The truth is, he does not have option. He will sign that. He will sign that, and that's a very good deal for America, and it's a good deal for him, sort of. So that is just it. He does not have option. Honestly, Zelensky does not. He cannot. That war cannot continue without the US, the Europe. In fact, I wanted to talk about it. Unfortunately, the time is against us. Honestly, Europe is so useless militarily. I can't believe that Europe is this useless. How can an entire continent be dependent on one country for their defense, Barrister? It is so foolish. Foolish for an entire Europe, a continent, to depend on a country for their defense. This Ukraine issue has actually exposed, although everybody knows, but I didn't know it is this deep, that even in Europe cannot even defend Ukraine, for God's sake. They don't have the capacity to protect Ukraine. Yet they are the one pushing for this war. Pushing for this war. Honestly, they should be, European leaders should be ashamed of themselves. That as big as they are dependent on one single country, the US. US is the one defending all these countries individually and as a continent. This is unbelievable, honestly. And yet they keep attacking the US. Under Democrat Party, they exploit the US. Under Republican, especially Donald Trump, they attack the US, attack him in person. I don't get, these people they want to eat their cake and have it. You are the one asking for something, begging for something. You are the one who needs help, that you can't even survive on your own militarily. Yet you are the one attacking somebody who can give you succor. So sad. Barrister, if you have any other thing, you can just round it up so that we'll close this episode.
We talk about Zelensky. You know, he flew to London yesterday. And he, up to this moment, I believe he has not learned any lesson, because the EU, European nations, are now giving him assurance that even if the US stop weapons supply, they will come to his aid. They are going to mobilize hundreds of billions. So he has not learned his lesson up to this moment. He has gone, Starmer has called a meeting of European leaders in UK, and he invited Zelensky to come there so that they can talk about how much they can raise for him. Is it not time for him to see through all of this, that it is not working? If you want to protract the war for 10 years, what are you going to get? More and more of Ukrainians will die. More and more of your land will go. So you should stop and salvage what you can salvage. That's what Donald Trump is telling him. Stop now. Your country is bleeding. Salvage what you can
My
salvage.
problem,
Why you still
no,
have
you
the
see,
country?
I don't know. I don't know. They are there. They know where to get these weapons. My problem is what you are. Is it about money or about weapons? You have the money. Do you have the weapons? Now the problem is how do you get these weapons? The people, the only place. These are the superpowers who have the weapons are not on your side. You have the Russia, you have US, you have China. These are the people that have the other super power is just UK does not. They're not even close to the US or Russia or China when it comes to weapons. So tell me, one thing is to release money. Another thing is to actually be able. You have the money, but can you get the weapons, the right weapons? It's not minor weapons like AK-47 and no usual bombs. You need real sophisticated weapons to be able to withstand and to push Russia back. For God's sake, if you have the money, if they have the money, do they have the weapons? How can they source for the weapons? The place, the avenue of at which they can get these weapons is not on their side. But I don't know. Does that make sense to you?
Look, Zelensky himself said that as of now, I think Ukraine has an army of 1 point something million, more than the combined armies of the whole EU. Are you aware of that? He said he can raise.
This is
He
news to
can
me
raise
anyway.
120 divisions, as against EU's divisions of 77. The total divisions in EU are 77. The current army strength of Ukraine alone is more than the whole entire EU combined. UK, for instance, now, I think their total military is not up to 60,000.
Yeah, of course. What do you expect? That's why they depend on the US.
It's not up to 60,000. They are comfortable in enjoying their wealth because they believe US is protecting them militarily. So they don't want to invest in that. And today the wind has blown and we are seeing their nyash, so to speak.
So sad, honestly. So very sad. Unfortunately. That's just it. Europe, they are so shameless. Honestly, they are so shameless. So shameless. All right, Barrister, thank you so very much for this long. I think this should be our longest conversation, our longest episode. We've never had this long episode. Very long. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your resources. Thank you for everything you have just brought. You've been bringing on this platform. We appreciate you so much. And viewers, we've been having this robust conversation with Barrister Austin Manta, a very, very senior legal practitioner of over 40 years. So he's an authority. And apart from being a legal practitioner, I respect him so much on current affairs analysis. I don't know. He seemed to be, when you say learned person, is an epitome of learnedcy, actually, because whatever topic you bring is he either have basic knowledge of that topic or has commanding knowledge of it, sort of. So, Barrister, thank you so very much for being with us again.
Thank you.